Hello, student. You are safe and fine at home. Class 10 Health and Physical Education. Chapter is Psychology and Sports. Today's topic defini- definition, learning, laws of learning, and transfer of learning. Learning. Learning has been defined by many psychologists in different ways. Some of the definitions of learning are as follows. According to Crooks and Stein, learning is a relatively enduring change in potential behavior that results from experience. Again, repeat it. According to Crooks and Stein, learning is a relatively enduring change in potential behavior that results from experience. According to Mann, Fernald, and Fernald, the process of having one's behavior modified more or less permanently by what he does and the consequence of his action or by what the observer is called learning. From the above definitions, we can conclude that learning is the modification in behavior as a result of experience. It can also be defined as the acquisition of knowledge or skills through study, experience, or by being taught. Such definition make it clear that learning is lifelong process comprising all interactions, experiences, and transformations undergone by an individual during his lifetime, which leave an imprint on his behavior. In fact, learning is a biological necessity and is essential for human development and his struggle for existence. Laws of learning. As learning has been recognized as a complex phenomenon, several psychologists have identified some general principles of learning that are universally mm, persistent to the learning process. These principles, laws, have been tested in all practical situations and provide understanding about affecting or effective learning process for different people. In the early 20th century, Edward Thorndike, an American psychologist, developed the first three laws, principles of learning. According to him, learning follows three primary laws. They are given below. Number one, law of readiness. According to this law, learning takes place only when an individual is in a state of readiness to respond. This is also known as the law of action tendency. Readiness means physical and mental maturity of an individual. This becomes clear from the fact that children learn to perform things only when they become physically mature and fit. Children learn to sit, stand, and walk only only when their body matures to perform such activities due to the lack of proper mental development which is necessary for learning. We do not remember most incidents of our infancy, infancy. Hence, there are different times for doing different things, like there is a specific time to join school. It has also been observed that if an individual is not physically and mentally to start learning, the process of learning is delayed or blocked. Readiness also refers to the environment or the situation in which learning takes place. Other factors like environment, interest, aptitude, drives, and needs of an individual also have an effect on learning. Thus, for proper learning to take place, both biological maturity and proper environmental conditions are necessary to encourage and improve learning. Second law of effect. According to this law, the experience that are satisfying and pleasurable are continued by an individual, and they have a positive effect on learning. When activities engaged in pose danger to an individual and result in dissatisfaction, dissatisfaction, the individual tries to avoid those activities, and thus hampers their learning. The play activities of children are pleasurable, and therefore they engage in such activities willingly but often full board during the formal teaching activities. There are activities that are held in a pleasant environment with good equipment and attractive teaching method produce a lasting impression on the learner's mind. Thus, this law suggests that the more satisfying the experience, the greater is the urge to continue it and better is the learning. Third law of exercise. This law states that a practice or repetitions of an experience makes it more long lasting. In other words, we can see that practice or repetition leads to perfection in learning. This law is like the law of use and disuse, which is applicable to exercise. According to this law, organs of the body that are used or exercised regularly strengthen, and those that are not used over a period of time decline or degenerate. Similarly, experience which do not occur frequently are quickly forgotten, but those that are often repeated are strengthened. Thus, we can conclude that the repetition of experiences leads to the reinforcement and strengthening of learning. This is especially true in case of developing skills in physical education. Apart from these three primary laws, Thorndike also proposed five secondary laws which further help to explain the process of learning. These are follows. Number one, law of the recency, law of primary, law of intensity, law of attitude, law of rhythm. Law of recency. According to this law, the things that have been learned recently can be easily remembered and recalled. Therefore, in order to learn about a sport in a better way and excel in it, it is imperative that an individual repeats and practices what she has recently learned. Second, law of primary. According to this law, the thing which is learned first has the maximum effect on learning. Hence, a sports school should aim to teach and impart training in such learning or in such a way that it leaves a strong impression on the mind of the student. A student's first experience with the teacher should be positive and attractive in such a way that he is inclined to learn effectively in the following classes. Law of intensity. According to this law, if the process of imparting training is more exciting and engaging, a student will be able to retain it for longer time, leading to better learning. For example, the use teaching aids helps the student relate to the subject with all their senses that results in enhanced learning. Law of attitude. According to this law, attitude, the outlook towards something, plays a major role in learning. If a student think about a particular task in a positive way, he or she is likely to complete it more effectively and efficiently, and vice versa. Fifth, law of freedom. According to this law, learning is more effective when students are given the freedom to choose what to learn, the freedom of action, and the freedom to take responsibility for their actions. This helps them to enjoy the process of learning and retain what is learned more effectively. Transfer of learning. Human beings learn from experiences and have the ability to make use of such knowledge to learn more when the learning of one task or school skill influences the learning of another task or skill. Then we say that transfer of learning has taken place. Therefore, the influence of previously learned skill on the learning of new skill is defined as the transfer of learning. It can also be defined as the application of previous learning from a specific situations to the next situation. Definition of transfer of learning. According to BK, transfer of learning occurs when a person learning in one situation influences his learning and performance in other situations. According to Alexander and Murphy, the process of using knowledge or skills acquired in one context in a new or varied context is called transfer of learning. According according to Crow and Crow, the carryover of habits of thinking, feeling, or working of knowledge or skills from one learning area to another is usually referred to as the transfer of training. Many psychologists have put forward a few theories that explain how several factors play an important role in transfer of learning. These factors are as follows. Number one, basic inborn skills. Two, intelligence. Three, memory. Four, imagination. And five, reasoning. However, it is generally agreed that transfers takes place easily when the content or techniques of the task already done and the one being attempted are the similar. Physical education and sport are mostly skill based activities and the principles of transfer of learning players a very important role in learning such skills. This principle is especially important for planning the educational curriculum. This principle emphasizes that given below, the basic and foundation skill should be learned before more complex skills are taught. Second, there should be a logical progression in teaching the skills. Number third, if the experience is more hands-on and practical, there is a greater possibilities of transfer of learning. Types of transfer of learning. Basically, there are four types of transfer of learning. Number one, positive transfer of learning. Number two, negative transfer of learning. Number three, bilateral bilateral transfer of learning. And number four, applicational transfer of learning. Positive transfer of learning, when the learning of one skill enhances the learning of another skills. It is known as positive transfer of learning. In this type, the transfer of learning is maximum. This type of transfer of learning boosts the performance of an athlete. For example, a discus thrower can easily learn shot put as both the sports involve rotational movement of the arm. Second, negative transfer of learning. When the learning of one skill hinders the learning of another skill, it is known as a negative transfer of learning. This type transfer of learning makes it difficult to learn new skills. For example, bowling in cricket and pitching in softball, while, while bowling is an overarm action, pitching is an underarm action. Such expertise in one skill can hinder the learning of the other. Bilateral transfer of learning, when we train the right arm and our leg, and as a consequence of that, there is a change in the performance of the left arm and our leg. It is known as bilateral transfer of learning. For example, when a long jump athlete trains his takeoff leg extensively, his or her other leg also gets trained also gets trained continuously. Number four, applicational transfer of learning, when a previous learning skill is applied to different real life situations. It is known as a applicational transfer of learning. For example, a weightlifter uses his weightlifting skills in daily life whenever he has to lift uses weightlifting skills in daily life whenever he has to lift heavy weight. Again repeated, applicational transfer of learning, when a previously learned skill is applied to different real life situations. It is known as applicational transfer of learning. For example, a weightlifter uses his weightlifting skills in daily life whenever he has to lift heavy weight. That's all. Good day.